Hi, my name is Kelsey, and I want to talk a little bit about my philosophy of education. To start, a little bit about me. I'm the first in my family to earn a college degree. I have always been very passionate about learning, and I've always been interested in learning anything and everything. My goal as a teacher is to foster lifelong learning in creative and impactful ways, and to help students discover what they're passionate about in life. And I want to encourage them to pursue their dreams. My educational philosophy falls under progressivism. And under progressivism, teachers are supposed to prepare students to be productive and democratic citizens. And students are supposed to work together to solve problems, and the schools should be exciting and interesting, and this should be an experience, not just a place to go and learn facts. And I really liked this quote from John Dewey, that education is not the preparation for life, education is life itself. And I feel like that really fits in well with the idea of school and education being an experience. I believe that the role of education is very broad. I liked this image because it ties in together dreams and success, goals, future, learning and leadership, and all these other things. And I feel like all of those are part of the educational process. The purpose of education is to set up students for future success, to give them the necessary skills that they're going to use later in their adult lives, whether that's in the workforce or just as members of society. Schools are supposed to be there to promote intellectual development and rational thinking, so students can use these tools in their adult lives and apply those where necessary. And education is also supposed to shape individual identities and to teach students how to interact in social situations. And these could be anything from their workplace or within social circles, or even once they become parents and their kids are in school, they need to know how to interact with others. And education is supposed to guide students on how to be contributing members of society and to be agents of change to bring about a better future. And all of these aspects of education are all centered on the students being our future. Education is supposed to prepare them for the future and to give them the opportunities for greatest success. The role of a teacher, a progressive teacher, is supposed to really fully engage their students with a variety of activities and resources for learning, and to make it interesting so that students want to learn more. Teachers should make the material relatable to their students' lives and to make connections with their students' prior knowledges and experiences, and to build on those prior things so that students can learn the content in a deeper way. Teachers should also encourage students to participate in their own education and to guide them to make realizations and to acquire knowledge of material on their own, because I feel that that leads to a deeper understanding of content versus just learning something to repeat later on a test. The goal should be lifelong learning. And a teacher can do this by pointing out key concepts and ideas and encouraging group discussions so that students know what things are most important and what things can be discussed further. Now, the roles of students are to be involved in their own education. They should set goals and work hard to achieve them, and they should be involved in group discussions, asking and answering questions, and also helping their peers. They should really actively participate in class to get the most out of their educational experience, and they should feel free to express their own ideas about concepts. But I think that most importantly, students should always think. They should also be thinking about what they already know or what they have already done and apply that to their new learning. And I feel like this image represents that very well because new knowledge is just one puzzle piece in the greater puzzle of life and learning and knowledge. My subject area is social studies, and I have some goals for my students. I really want them to understand how the past is going to relate to the present, and I want to focus on developing their research skills by using both primary and secondary sources. And by doing that, I hope that I can enhance their critical thinking skills, and I want my students to relate to the material by asking and answering questions. And I want them to recognize and appreciate the different cultures of the world and that role in the historical events, and to make personal connections to the history that they're learning. So my students are going to come from all different backgrounds and have different cultures, religions, beliefs, and goals and stories. And I think that that's really important for a teacher to know and to appreciate. The special thing about teaching adolescents, especially high school students, is that they're old enough that you can talk to them and treat them like adults, and you can challenge them to think more critically and deeply about what they're learning. But they're still young enough and spirited enough that you can enjoy and appreciate the fun activities and that you can incorporate into your classroom to make learning more exciting. And I believe that student-centered learning is the best method of learning for adolescents because they're able to come to these realizations on their own, to work things out and problem solve on their own or with their peers. And I feel like that is what really makes them make deeper connections with what they're learning, and they actually learn for life rather than learning for a test. The teaching methods that I want to implement in my classroom are just to make things fun. I want to be creative and exciting, and I really love the idea of small group activities and discussions because they encourage the student-centered learning environment. And I believe that, like I said before, that these students develop the deeper understanding of content when teachers guide them to forming these realizations and making these connections of historical events on their own. So the curriculum that I plan on implementing in my classroom is a blend of civic education and multicultural education. With civic education, the curriculum is going to be focused on civic learning, so students are more familiar with democratic principles, and they learn how to get involved as democratic citizens. And part of this could be by encouraging participation in community or teaching them about social responsibility. And then for multicultural education, I really want to focus on a non-Eurocentric view of history. So this curriculum will focus on multiculturalism, and students will be able to get a more diverse knowledge of the many cultures of our world and how all of these cultures fit into history in the larger sense, but also on an individual level of different cultures as well. The instructional strategies I plan to use are visual aids to help make connections and explain things easily, document-based questions to encourage critical thinking and working with primary sources, and small group activities for discussion and social interaction. And then research projects will help them learn more about something that they're passionate about. For assessments, an entry-level assessment could be by having students watch a video clip or documentary to introduce an activity or a lesson, and then have a discussion afterwards about how the video relates to students' prior knowledge, and to sort of get a feel for what they need to know more or what they already know. And a formative assessment could be taking a fun Kahoot quiz in class, and students get to use their electronic devices, which gets them more excited about taking a quiz, but it'll also tell me what they know or what they need to focus on more or what I need to go over again. So all of these things are all part of my philosophy of education, and how they all fit into the progressive philosophy of education. I just really want to make my classroom fun and exciting, and to get students really active and involved in their own educational process, and for me to be a guide for them to learning and developing as critical thinkers and productive members of society.